We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, the wouldn't let you have it any other way.
Good evening and welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith. It is the Fans Forum, and as always, joined by a panel of Newcastle United fans: George, Darren, Magnus, Alan, Pablo, Ian, and Spenny. Good evening, and good evening, everybody in the chat. And we're coming off the back of a 1-1 draw with Manchester City, probably the best team in the world at this current moment in time. Certainly the best team in our league, and a point well earned. Whatever you want to say about the game, chip in the chat. We'll try and come to your points as we go along. But first, as always, we'll go around the board and find out what everyone thought of the match and everything that went with it. George, we're starting with you. What was your views on the game at the weekend?
Well, the right Newcastle United turned up. That was the most important thing. That was the first thing. Then after that, there were so many good things. It's hard to list more. I could go on forever. But also, one or two of the players managed to put right some of the ideas that pundits and us have. Things like don't play Anthony Gordon in the middle. He's not a centre forward. Don't play Anthony Gordon on the left because England want him on the left. On the right, don't play Anthony Gordon on the right because England want him on the left. Harvey Barnes is better on there. And then Anthony Gordon actually answered it himself after the game. He doesn't give a damn where he plays. I think if anyhow asked him to play in goal, he would do that as well, which is wonderful to hear from him because he's that kind of bubbly character to get everybody going. And I tell you what, he speaks so much common sense. In 2 or 3 years' time, when he's banging the goals in, I wouldn't mind seeing him be our captain as well because sadly Bruno's not a captain and shows it every time he goes on the pitch, but that's another issue. But Anthony Gordon gave an almost complete display as a centre forward. He chased everything, he harried everything, and the others followed suit. So the other thing that we demonstrated through Gordon, a bit through Barnes, and particularly Murphy in the first half hour, that Manchester City can't handle pace. Murphy could have killed them in the first 20 minutes if he'd laid off better balls or people had got into better positions. It was just incredible. It's the first time I've seen a City defence actually being outrun by anybody, but they were regularly by our lads, and it was good to see. And the other thing was to see the heart back in the team. One incident you might remember, after a corner, Dan Burn was still up and went chasing after the Walker, the fullback. Walker thought he'd sold on a dummy and run away. Well, he didn't get very far before Dan Burn was up his backside again, and he had to play it back to the goalkeeper. And Dan Burn dashed into the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper had to play it in a hurry and give the bloody ball to Gordon. You know, that's been missing. That's been missing. It was great to see on Saturday. And so was some of the football. Some of the football was absolutely gorgeous. Good to see Trippier back. Pope, well, if you could learn to kick, he'd be world class. You know, it's as simple as that. But when it comes to shot stopping, there isn't a better goalkeeper in the division than Pope. Some of the saves he makes are world class, no doubt about it. And the important thing is, as well, as they're made after he's been idle for a long time. He's been standing doing very little, and then suddenly has to make one of these saves, and it comes off because his mind's in the right place. And yeah, I was very, very impressed with him. I think if I'm any judge, we don't have a problem at left back anymore, because I thought Lewis Hall was absolutely fantastic. He's a bit nervous now and again, but throughout the game, I thought he had a fantastic game, and long may it continue. I also saw why Eddie Howe was been nursing Tonali. He had 90 minutes for Italy, but it was quite clear halfway through the second half, with his socks down around his ankles, he was knackered. He was getting cramp, and that's why Eddie Howe didn't play him 90 minutes all the time. But he got the best 70 minutes he could out of him, because he was great. I go back to one of the Italian games, and the Italian commentator, I think I told you, kept calling him Machina. He's about Newcastle's turned into a Machina machine, in other words. Well, that long may continue, because he's if he puts that kind of display on a regular basis, we're in for some good football and some good results. Any disappointments? Well, I suppose it's carping a little bit. I thought at times Harvey Barnes didn't seem to want the ball, or he only wanted it in certain conditions, where the others would take it whenever, which I found a bit strange, because he's been so on point in the last couple of games. But on a whole, it was a pleasure to be there. It was great atmosphere. And War Flags need to be complimented again for what they did with the Anthony Gordon tribute at the beginning. And it was lovely to hear him acknowledge it and say that he was so upset when he went on the pitch with the mascot. He was almost in tears. Does that sound like a player that's going to Liverpool? Does it, hell? No chance. And the only negative about Manchester City, Grealish, what a petulant little toad he is, honestly. £100 million. I wouldn't give the lickings of a dog's bollocks for him now. He's just a non-entity. Just a non-entity for me after that. And I don't know if you lads saw, but he got into an argument with the fans as he went down the tunnel after he got substituted. Well, for me, that's a yellow card. And it really was, as you can see, I don't use words like that very often, but he just annoyed me. I dislike people who are good at their professions, but aren't very good professionals. And that sums Jack Grealish up for me. And the number of times he tried to get free kicks by stumbling or faking to stumble, it was just incredible. And Spenny reminded us before you all came on, that there was a cheer in my part of the ground because the referee actually gave a foul throw. He could have given 100 more, but he gave one, at least he gave one. That's something. So we're making progress, folks. But by and large, what a great day to be there. What a great day. And as I said at the beginning, the real Newcastle turned up. That was the important thing for me. And it was a joy to be there. And Steve Hastie's black blue down one side because of it.
What did you make of the referee, George?
Awful. In my opinion, he let Manchester City control the game. The number of times their goalkeeper or their players taking free kicks or throw-ins went way, way, way over any sensible length of time. He did it time and time again. He just waved it off. He didn't. In fact, he didn't even add it on at the end, because how he got 1 minute in the first half and 7 minutes in the second half, I don't know, for extra time. But I thought he was diabolical, basically. That very, very ordinary for me.
And one other moment of controversy wasn't to do with the football; it was to do with the lads coming out the tunnel, George. No local hero.
Yeah. Yes,
Disappointed?
Yes, of course. I think anybody that goes to St James's Park now associates local hero with the ground as much as Blaydon Races, I have to say. Yes, I'd forgotten about that, Steve. Thank you. It was disappointing, but I'm sure there'll be a reason. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. There wasn't to do with the match, but I don't know if any of you seen Ali McCoist and his mate off the television in the stack before the game, and listening to them. It's not a place I particularly want to go to, but that segment on television really did look good for Newcastle United, I've got to say. So all in all, a good Saturday for Newcastle United. It really was.
Yeah. Should we have had another penalty, George?
Yes. Well, we could have two, in my opinion, but one at least, definitely one. In fact, that one was more certain than Anthony Gordon's was, in my opinion. But as I say, the guy, in the pitches paid to do the job, and he didn't think it was. What also bothered me is he didn't even ask VAR to look at it.
Yeah, okay. I am going to go to you next, Magnus. Darren was sitting next to you earlier, but he'll have to wait. So Magnus, give us your views from Iceland about that game at the weekend.
Now, can I just give a great shout out to Talk of the Toon taking on a record that they didn't know from Iceland. I really enjoyed that show. Thanks to Rob and Sid and all of you. We really enjoyed that, we really enjoyed that, and we're glad that you would even consider it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Rob
did
enjoy it, Magnus. He did enjoy it, so that was good. Got a good mark as well. So well done.
Very well, very well. With regards to the game, for me, it's the best game we played this season, and I was actually feeling cautiously optimistic before this one because of the shambolic game we had before. I've seen better quality football in the category 15 years old than the performances that we've been showing, and especially in the Fulham match. So something had to happen, and it totally did. They needed to show what they're all about. I mean, it's been a fair few games that we've been disappointed with the whole team, but they put it all right on Saturday. They came right off the blocks. We are defending like never before. It's almost hard to pick one player that did any better job than the next person, because this was a wholesome togetherness performance. And if I have to pick anybody, it's probably going to be Tonali, because I could see him all over the place, spotting dangers, heading the ball out for a throw-in. I was really, really impressed with his performance, just as well in defense as in offense. Anthony Gordon has shown us that he can play anywhere. He had a free roll. It must have been a free roll, because he just went to the left and picked up the ball when he wanted to. And this is the Anthony Gordon we know, and long may that continue. I'm very, very excited. If this is the kind of performances that we are going to be offering, then I'm not worried in the slightest about the team. We have options, and we have the great keeper. Playing defense like this is no joke. We had the blonde Norwegian mountain to fight all game long, and to me, Dan Burn had him in his pockets. I'd like to see him empty his pockets after that game, because there's a big, massive Norwegian guy there that has been scoring like nobody's business, and he cannot do it against us. Not when we take the game to them, and we gave them a taste of their own medicine, which I absolutely adored. Jack Grealish was a nuisance. If anything, it reminded me a little bit of when there was our own player that went to QPR. and gave them a really hard time trying to get anybody off the pitch with it. Joey Barton.
Yes.
He was behaving a little bit like Joey Barton that day when they won the title, and I really don't want to see this in football. If that was his instructions to wind us up and try to get under our skin, then, what kind of instructions are they? Or is he just simply being himself? Then he went sort of down in opinion for me after this game. But great game for us. Long may it continue. I would like to get now 3 wins in a row before we go into a little more serious fixtures that are coming up soon.
Spot on, Magnus. Spot on.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, Spenny, mate, give us your views on the match at the weekend. Give us your views.
Great results. Where we played. Finally, the players were being saying should be playing are playing, except obviously Isaac isn't playing because he's injured. For me, absolutely fantastic. The one that I'm really impressed about in that match is the togetherness of the team. Everybody was helping anybody else. If someone was trying to tackle someone was behind them. We were well drilled in that game. And I hope we like this all the time in other games. Because the way we played like that, the intensity was finally back. Passing was better. Some players weren't like Murphy wasn't, but some of the other ones were. And I thought they were fantastic. And for me, there was about 6 or 7 man of the matches that game. And if you want to hear me man of the match, it would be Dan Burn. Because Dan Burn had one thing to stop Haaland, and he stopped them. And he did it brilliantly for me. And that's about it, Steve.
What did you think of the other? I mean, the penalty was a penalty, I felt, but I mean, should we have had another one at least, the Joe Linton one?
I thought the second one was more of a penalty than the first one, to be honest. The first one, when you're running at that speed, what Gordon runs, even a slight touch knocks him on his feet. So maybe the video replay show that he hardly touched his left foot, but it's contact, and that's the rules. So it should be a penalty. I'm surprised Edison never got a yellow card for that because it's the last man. I don't know if it counts as a goalkeeper. For the music you said before, coming into the game, I don't give a crap what music comes on. I wouldn't mind playing races, to be honest. So the crowd comes along and starts singing it all together like they do with other grounds. I think it'll make a good atmosphere.
All right, good stuff. Anthony Amos says the pre-match playlist should be Thin Lizzy, the Ramones, Busker, Worlds Collide by the Long Sands, and local hero. I'll email the club. Anthony, good on you, mate. Good on you. We did have the Long Sands play there once. It was before the Sunderland derby match when Steve Bruce was the Mackem manager. Won at Halloween when we won 5-1. And the lads had to sing their version of Blade and Races on the pitch. But that mime it, unbelievable. But great opportunity for the lads back in the day. Darren, super positivity. Wow, I mean, this is a bit of a surprise, Darren, to see that under your name.
Yeah, well, for once, that much not to really complain about, just 1 or 2 things.
Oh, I beg to differ. But go on.
Murphy.
I thought you were the last one on, Darren, because you twins down there.
Murphy was a bit clueless. Yes, he's got his pace, but he doesn't know what to do. I'm not a fan of him. And Nick Pope's kicking. He needs. You can't learn from you who's 32 now. But he let it cost us another goal. Really, thank God it didn't. But for that, you couldn't fault the lads. We high pressed them. Lewis Hall man the match all day long. I thought he was outstanding. And I know I said target back in the squad, but after Lewis Hall's performance on Saturday, I would start Lewis Hall all day long now. Yes, Dan Burn had an okay game. He kept Holland quiet. Sure, a good game. But it's just different when we play better teams. We're more up for it. So we need to do that more often. We play Everton on Saturday, well, Wimbledon and then Everton. We need the same level again.
Yeah.
So going forward, that's the level we want to produce every week if we can. Like Sandro tonight had a good game, and I just thought that how good he tackled his bang on. To be fair, he knew Gordon's not a striker. Gordon will play anywhere, but he's not a striker. You can tell. I'll be fair on the left hand side. Even when he had Eddie Howe said on the press conference today, he would prefer him on the left hand side. So like, but you couldn't fault them. They have a battle. We wanted to get a result, and I did call it right 1-1 last week, and I didn't think Joelin was a penalty in my eyes.
Yeah,
I don't think it was. If that was the other way around, we'd be kicking off. So, and I thought the referee had a good game, George. I'm sorry, you can't halfway had a good game, referee. I'd watched it over again, so I'm not going to be too thing on the ref.
He was making time look great.
Yeah,
making time for Man City.
I know, but all teams do it, Spenny, though, mate. Not just Man
Well, all
City.
referees make time for the teams.
I know, but you can't just win. You can't just say referee every week, can you?
You see, Darren's just seen his name this weekend. Gillette, the best the man can get, and he's thought, I better say he's the best man. I better say he's the best referee we've had so far.
You just can't say like if we go, oh, the referee said a poor game, shocking game. It's halfway had a good game. Well, was a few lads said that as well. So,
but like Magnus says, there was one time the goalkeeper had the bloody ball 24 seconds. He's only supposed to have it 6.
George,
and he didn't have the guts to give us 2 penalties. You know, it's almost like they're handing it out. Handed out.
But it wasn't a penalty, Magnus. No, I can't agree. It wasn't the Joel wasn't a penalty.
Darren still thinks Dummer plays, man.
And did you not play Darren plays?
What about
yeah.
I like my case, Penny. You don't like appeal and interrupt there. So like I said,
Go on, Darren.
Go on, Darren.
So, like I say, I'm sticking with what I think, and then like I said, I thought we're done good.
Did it bother you about local hero not getting played, Darren?
You know, I didn't realise, Steve. To be fair,
you didn't realise. Okay, no worries. Okay, how are you, Darren, man? How many pre-match pints do you have? Murphy was me man of the match. Joe Lynn was a blatant pen, says Paul. There you go.
No, Murphy's clueless. Murphy's absolutely clueless.
Darren taking videos at the match.
I think Hall and Gordon were very good. The left side looks great. Just need to add to the right side. Yes, Scott. And I mean, Walker was never going for the ball. Jumped into Big Joe with a slightly raised leg. That has to be a penalty, says Monkey.
Yeah.
So most people felt it was a penalty. Alan, what did you make of it, mate?
Well, I hate to say it, lads, but I agree 95% of what Darren said, actually, to be honest. Where I was at the match,
you can't hear you, know, sitting next to you on the screen.
I honestly thought it was a penalty when I was at the match, lads. But when I seen it on TV 3 or 4 times, they were both level. And when I was there for 20 minutes, I'm thinking that was another penalty. It was just as bad. It was, in fact, worse than the penalty we got. But when I've seen it on TV 3 or 4 times, I think I have to agree again, George, with Darren. I thought the referee actually had a pretty good game. Actually, he got the right goals.
Right, Alan, I'll buy you. Thanks, done.
A lot of referees, George, would not have given us that penalty.
Steve, don't send them any more links.
I know you wouldn't. For me, with being a defender, Lewis Hall was my man of the match. I thought for a 19-year-old to do that in a big game, I thought he was fantastic. People forget Gordon and lads, even though Gordon's still young, they've got 3 or 4 more years experience than Lewis Hall, and I thought he was outstanding. Like I said, you know, basically you could name 5 or 6 that man of the match, Dan Byrne, like you see. And again, I hate to say it, but Murphy was fantastic running, lads. His commitment to the cause and everything's brilliant.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember the end product, lads. He doesn't give the end product. Yes, he does some fantastic balls, and yes, we could argue we have not got a proper centre forward because them 2 or 3 them balls in the second half, if we had an Isaac there, we could have quite easily won the game. One bone of contention I have with Man City fans is they were all saying Newcastle stole a point. I beg to differ. They stole a point from us, in my eyes. You know, so in that respect, I'm in agreement. Anybody that says we should have won, well, I agree with them. But again, everybody's got their own opinion about the second duel. And at the time at the match, I thought it was a penalty, but when you see it on the TV, I don't think it was actually.
Stephen Kennedy should have had 4 penalties. Gordon, Julian, and Barnes and Shaw were all stonewall penalties. And so Monkey Suit makes a good point. These days, foul cards, penalty shootouts are given based on intent. Doesn't even have to be contact. Going by the current rule book, you could see Walker was never looking or going for the ball, which means
correct.
Which means a penalty. So it's not all about opinions, though, guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute if we give it. I was all for it. And what Magnus said before, it's what happens now. Next, lads, it's what happens.
Of course. Got to build on it.
And Wimbledon, we've got to keep it going, lads, and keep the spirit up. And Gordon's interview nearly made us cry myself when he said about the, like the contracts nearly signed, and like he had emotion after. That's absolutely brilliant, lads. Absolutely brilliant.
It was.
And it made me nearly cry, thinking that's what we want of Isaac now. Get him signed up, get the lads together. And the first game that we've all been together, and it's got the boost we're going forward, lads. I'll let Pavlo get on, and I hope he's better from what he's been like. So,
Tom Dixon is asking that he says no Barry tonight. Yeah, we've not heard from Barry, but for every Barry fan out there, I'm not going to put a picture of a door up. Don't worry. I was going to surprise him with this tonight. Something I saw on his Facebook. There's lots of Barrys there. Look at them photos of Barry. What he's put on his Facebook.
The one with the cigars, Jim.
Maybe Barry's moved on into the world of acting and not told us about it. I tell you what, his IMDb is better than mine with some of the parties out there. So there's Barry for all Barry fans out there. Anyway,
Iron Barry was pretty cool.
It was, yeah. Well, I will send you that, lads. You can have a good look at it.
One little point, Steve. I'm thankfully I was wrong with my prediction. Thanks, lads.
Yes, you were.
I'm wrong with my prediction. It makes it even more sweeter, lads.
Jackie says, Darren and Alan are going to start a new TV show. Come be negative with me, it's called. Pablo, welcome back from your deathbed. What did you make of the match?
Yeah, first and foremost, I mean, look at us all. We're all smiling. This is what football's all about.
Yeah,
we've had 4 or 5 weeks of us all sat there gloomy, me included. This is the beauty of football. I would have given us a free hit on Saturday and just taken a very slim defeat, but with a bit more of a performance. And what we got was a result to which we could have won and the performance as well. So it was like a double win for me. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't watch the game live. I was actually driving a bus working, but listen to this. I've got 2 fellas on the front seat who are on the ale, and I've got them relaying the match to me as I'm driving a bus. I mean, I'm not sure how professional that is, but, at least I'm keeping up with the match. And I'm pulling into a bus stop, one of the main bus stops, and one of these guys says to me, penalty! And I'm like, whoa. So I've pulled into the bus stop. There's people waiting to get on, and I've not even opened the doors, and I'm giving them I'm giving them the 1 minute sign, and I'm listening to the penalty with these guys, and I'm like, yeah. And then eventually the doors open, and I'm like, I'm really sorry about that, but we've just scored. So
brilliant, Pablo. Brilliant.
I'm lucky to still have a job, to be fair. But yeah, as regards,
you'll get another one.
Yeah, like I said, I can't dissect the game because I've only watched it in catch up. We looked like exactly what we've all been asking for. My only worry is, and this is not being negative, it's just my worry, is that we've now raised that bar tenfold. We've now got to carry that on because we look like we're back to our best. We can't then toddle into Wimbledon or toddle into the weekend and then give a lackluster performance again, because we've shown that we can do that against the very best. And like Big Dan Byrne, like Magnus was saying, Haaland must have been ringing his dad after the game saying, what is it? He'd be like, Alfie, give me some tips here, son. But do you know what? Absolutely fantastic to see the feel-good factor back. And like I said, I'd have taken a slim defeat, but with this performance, I'd have taken that all day long. The Gordon stuff is fantastic, because I'm not going to lie, I started to go down that negative route with him. I started to think, do you really want to be here? Are you really interested in us? So I'm not going to lie, I put my hands up. I went down that negative trap. What else have we got to say? Wimbledon tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll cover that in the second half of the show.
Yeah.
Mark Byers says, I'll do Barry's bit, seeing as he's missing tonight. Well, lads, it's hard to disagree with anything George says, lads. Agree with everything George said. There you go. Thank you, Mark.
Well done, Mark. Well done. Well said.
Lots of people said Barry's working tonight on the doors. XJP Dave says, Jackie Nicholson, I'm not quite sure what you mean by he's smashing his back door in. I'll leave that for people's imagination. What's your thoughts, Ian? Not on where Barry is, but on the match of the weekend.
First of all, it was brilliant to see Anthony Gordon come back to the Gordon that we loved, and I'm going to send an apology out because I know he watches the show because he mentioned that he's been watching social media, and I gave him a right hammering last week and told him to piss off to Liverpool. So sorry, Anthony, if you're watching. But it did the trick anyway. I'm not claiming it all, but I'll take my little percentage. No, he did brilliant. He set the tone for the match. He went after him, didn't he? Like, he was after him. You know, watching Dan Burn as well, stalking Walker. It was like watching a giraffe stalk a cheetah. You know what I mean? But the giraffe just clipped the cheetah enough to just get enough, didn't he? You know, he was brilliant.
You've got to give Walker some credit, mate. His missus is after 15 mil, so the guy's not on it at the minute.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
yeah. No, it was brilliant. The whole team, I can't remember who said it now. I think everyone said it basically. The whole team played like a team. It was led by, you know, it was led by Gordon. I thought I've not seen as good a performance as that closing, as good a pressing performance from a striker. You know, I know he's not a striker in essence, but he was back doing what we want him to do. He was a pain in the arse in a good way, not in a Grealish way, who we'll come on to in a minute, without trying to get you closed down. But who else can I say? Special mention for the coverage of the match as well. TNT. I'll not talk too much about them penises, but they spent so they managed to not replay at all Grealish's elbow into Ali's head, right? Yeah. Without no replays of that, but they replayed Haaland having a ripped sock for about 15 minutes while the fucking game's going on. No, I've seen a comment somewhere and he was like, what an athlete is Haaland going on through the whole match with a ripped sock? You know what I mean? Come on, get a grip. It's pathetic. We should have had...
Callum Wilson's been out with a ripped nipple for a season. Don't you be too hard.
I've had one of them to do another thing's funny tonight is when Darren's being positive, it's still for some reason, even though he's being positive, ended up sounding negative. It's ridiculous. You can't win. Let's just stick to your guns. You guys.
I've been positive. Yeah, I've come not much negative. You only two hard.
No, you didn't, mate. You didn't. And I thought you're wrong on the ref. I thought the ref bottled it. He had a bit of a stinker for me. It was two penalties that weren't given that were penalties. The penalty that was a penalty, which is this controversial penalty.
I wasn't.
Flipping heck.
I don't think it was.
It's all over the news. Controversial penalty. A defender takes out an attacker nowhere near the ball and he falls over after being hit by a defender. By a keeper. But that's not a penalty. In what world? 15 years ago, it might not have been a penalty. Today, it's a penalty. And it's there is. I don't want to go on about conspiracy theories, but you know, if that was the other way around, it would not be mentioned. And anyone who says that it would be is full of shit for me. That was a penalty. The other one we mentioned before we came on, the judo throw on Shah. That was ridiculous. He literally just picked him up and chucked him over. That never got reviewed. So I think he did bottle it. But all in all, you know, it was actually a really enjoyable game of football to watch. We played excellent. For me, I think we were unlucky not to actually get 3 points. But I thought, you know, coming into the game when you've seen Isak's not playing, Gordon's up front, everything that had happened the game before, the whole feeling around the club, like like at the end of that game,
yes,
I don't think I've felt happier for a long time watching a Newcastle United game. So I'm not going to whinge about getting a point against probably the best team in the world at the moment.
of course.
Yeah, okay, good stuff. That is the game reviewed. Lots of comments coming in, and let's talk about the game coming up tomorrow now, George. AFC Wimbledon, reverse fixture because their pitch is in a hell of a state. Flood rendered Plough Lane unplayable last Tuesday, so the game has been reversed. Newcastle, of course, winning lots of plaudits, pitching in £15,000 into the Just Given page that was set up as well. So Wimbledon have had a few presents from us. We don't want to give them any presents tomorrow night, though. 7:45 kick-off. A result must be achieved on the night, remember. If the score is tied after 90 minutes, a penalty shootout will see the result given tomorrow night. This is the first domestic cup tie at St James's Park in 2024. We've had 6 away draws in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup. At stake is a 4th round home draw again with Premier League Chelsea. Team news, Jamal Lascelles, Sven Botman, Lewis Miley, Callum Wilson and Alexander Isak remain sidelined. Matt Target is probably unlikely to make this as well. Eddie Howe said in his press conference, Sandro Tonali should be okay. Also said that Kieran Trippier won't play tomorrow night. It is expected there will be a bit of game time though for Emil Kraft, Miggy Almiron and Will Asula. As for AFC Wimbledon, well, we know very little about them, but we do know that Ryan Johnson is suspended. Jake Reeves and Aaron Sasu are also doubtful. Johnny Jackson is the manager, and the Wombles have lost just once in 9 league and cup games this season, but they have not had a game for 10 days. So maybe he's a little bit ring rusty, and let's hope that the size of St James's Park crowd tomorrow night does overcome them slightly. Jackson did end up on the winning side at St James's Park during his time as a Tottenham Hotspur player. He came off the bench for the final seconds of a 1-0 Premier League win for Spurs in 2004. And last Saturday's League Two home game with Stanley was postponed due to the short time frame and trying to arrange an alternative venue. Wimbledon made it through to this stage of the Carabao Cup after a 2-1 first round win with fellow League Two side Bromley and a penalty shootout success with a 2-2 draw at Ipswich Town in the second round. As for TV, it is live on Sky Sports, so if you're not going to the game, sit back and relax and watch that. The referee is Darren Bond from Lancashire, yet to take charge of a Newcastle game during his fledgling Premier League career, but did take charge of our home and away victories over Derby County in the 2016-17 Championship season. Craig Pawston was originally listed for this game at Plough Lane. VAR is not applicable in this game, so don't be looking to the screen. Suits our opposition. Maybe it's not us. We're used to having VAR back us up with controversial decisions. So, George, you're going to the game tomorrow night. Got to be honest, I'm looking forward to it. It's a home cup tie. What's your views on it? We know it's going to be a much changed team.
I would expect it would be, but I hope he's a bit cautious about that though, because Wimbledon tend to be a bit of a physical side. So if we go in with the idea it's going to be a cakewalk, we might get a shock because they're quite a physical side and a bit pacey as well. So we'll need to be up for it, otherwise we could get a bit of a fright. What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to a new Danish centre forward scoring a hat trick just to start things off and take it from there. I think it'll be a good game. They'll get another bonus tomorrow night, by the way, because it's St James's Park, because the proportion of the gate that they'll get at St James's will be about 5 times what they would have got if it had been played at Plough Lane. So they're going to get another nice bonus tomorrow night off the Geordie fans. As I say, they're geared up for where they are in Division 2. Physical, fast, and they'll not let us rest. They'll be pressing hard against us. The big thing in our favour, and that is that they won't. I don't think they'll have the physical fitness that our lads have got. So it could be that we pile on the goals towards the end of the game, and that would be great. But to have a home cup tie in any cup is just fantastic for me. I mean, all the years I've been going, it always adds an edge, always adds an excitement, the fact that there's a cup involved. And I do truly think that this one is a one we can win. And as I keep showing you, it's there, but I've even painted the rattle there you are. Never painted since 1955.
There we go.
Never painted since 55. Imagine 20,000 of them in the Gallagher End. Yeah, I'm looking forward, as you can see.
Good stuff. Give us your prediction then, George.
I think we'll win 4-0.
Okay, positive one from George. Over to you, Magnus. Carabao Cup game, home game. What's your views on this one?
Yeah, no, I've seen in the past some rough battles between Newcastle and Wimbledon. I guess this is not really the same Wimbledon as we remember in the far distance, but it's never going to be an easy game, regardless. They already went through a little bit of a tragedy themselves, as in their whole court has been ruined, and very nice to see that both the fans and the club itself paid a little bit of something towards fixing it. We're all in this together, and for me, I'm hoping that's where the goodwill ends, because I don't want to see any goodwill on the pitch. For me, I would like to see a lot of changes. I'd like to see the Great Dane up front, Osula. I'm still calling him the Great Dane because he's there for great things, and it's only gonna happen in black and white colors. Just hasn't happened yet, but it sure will, and it might even start tomorrow. Another player I would really like to see definitely somewhere in the squad, but I would like to see him start. And I don't hold any water for Sanusi. Sanusi needs to start this game. I would really like to see him play 90 minutes or even just 60 minutes, because I haven't had a player like this since St. Maximin that really, really puts me to the edge of the seat, and I want to see him play. Another player, Emil Kraft, has not done one wrong move during this campaign. He needs to start. And I would like to see him start in his maybe rightful position and give both Trippier and Tino Livramento a break. I'd like to see Lloyd Kelly start the game. And I want to see quite a few changes. Nothing that is out of the ordinary. We are still at home, and this is it's a League One side. I take nothing for granted, but I want to see a lot of changes, and I expect nothing but a victory tomorrow. 3-0 for me, 3-0 for me, and I accept nothing less. But I would like to see some of the faces. Miguel Almiron is in for a shout. They did great against Brazil the other day, and he barely has played a minute since. I'd like to see Miguel Almiron start the game. There's a fair few names that are really, really top-notch for me, and they haven't been getting minutes. Let's give them a break, and we've got the bench then to react if it's not going our way.
Okay, what's your prediction, Magnus?
It's a solid 3-0 for us at home, and hoping to see Chelsea in the next round. This was an awkward situation with regards to the stadium, but I'm glad we are not ridiculous. Like, this thing happened here in Iceland not long ago, where one of the goals were broken and it couldn't be replaced in time. And the other team was trying to demand a 3-0 victory. I'm so glad we're not a team like that demands and tries to bully smaller teams. Let's play that game, and on fair ground. The ball hasn't been kicked yet. And I'm really glad to see that the club was even trying to help with the situation that happened in Wimbledon. So I'm saying 3-0, and that's that for me.
Okay, good stuff. We'll do the ads at the end. Just want to promote this. I've stuck the link in the chat and pinned it in. Don't forget, The Entertainers 92 to 97, Keegan's Legacy. The book by Will Scott comes out on the 30th of November. The first 200 copies, there'll be a $5 donated to the Dementia Matters charity, which means if we can sell them before the 30th of November, that means £1,000 more to the Dementia charity. I will have to put a final total out for the fanzine because we did manage to sell the rest of those subscriptions. Haven't had time to work it out. I should be able to do that tonight, but we definitely made over £3,000. I did transfer 2,936 quid to them last week. Bev at the charity was in tears when I sent them that, so that tells you how much they need the money. But yeah, we will have definitely hit £3,000 with what we've made on the fanzine. So thank you everybody who bought that. $13.99 the book. I know a lot of people are saying, right, payday coming up, I'll definitely buy a copy. But if we can hit the same people who bought the fanzine, even if it's you who do it, guys and ladies, please do. $13.99 for the book. I think we sold about 15 so far. NewcastleLegends.com is where you can order it. Let's get them some more money in. We've got a couple of other things coming up, which won't cost a fortune, where you can help us out before Christmas as well. Watch this space. We are going to help Dementia Matters even more before Christmas. Okay, it's Benny, Wimbledon. Tomorrow you're going to the game. Give us your views on it.
I think it might turn into an old English cup game, to be honest. I think George is right. He'll come out and try to kick us. They'll probably try to make a name for themselves when we play. I think we'll do 9 changes tomorrow night. I think Tonali and Barnes will be the only ones to keep the places from Saturday. And I think Tonali will be made captain as well, to be honest. I'm looking forward to the game. I miss me cup games at home. Been that long since we had one in domestic cup, wasn't it? It's been just the Champions League, and that's all it's been. But I think we'll win it. I think we'll positively win. I think class will show because it'll show how strong we are with these 9 changes being made as well. It shows that what we can do when we're in Europe next season. So for me, I'm going for 6-0.
Okay, 6-0 for Spenny. Thank you, Denise. Got your order. Thank you for ordering it. And don't forget as well, if you know other Newcastle fans and in your family, buy them as a present. Get one for yourself, buy one for a present. It'll all help accordingly. Okay, Darren, cup game tomorrow night. What's your thoughts on this Wimbledon game?
Eddie Howe said on his press conference he's not taking it lightly, he's taking it serious. So, and I think he will. He can down to the T. So the wary of Wimbledon, but I expect a 5-0 win tomorrow. I think I'm expecting about probably 10 changes tomorrow. I think you'll play Tonali, Longstaff. I think Longstaff will be captain tomorrow in the squad. But I'm expecting 5-0 win.
Okay. Positivity from Darren. He wasn't lying, was he? What are you expecting? What do you want to see tomorrow?
For me, like Steve, I'm expecting a 3-0 win. And I hope Asulu gets a run out, because when will he get a run out if he can't get a run out in a game like this? I basically agree with Magnus, a lot of it, what he said. It's great to see that the club are doing a great PR exercise by giving Wimbledon money to repair that pitch. I think that goes well for the future, in case Wimbledon have some stores in the future, can only help with PR going forward, lads. People have got to help the people at the bottom, you know. So I'm always nervous when we're expected to win by a big amount. I'm always nervous. So it's nice to see we're 2-1 and we're due to give Chelsea a whopping, surely, lads, in the next round. So
twice in a week. It's got them twice in a week that week as well, which it's happened many times.
And then 3 days later, we'll play them up here. So let's hope so. 3-0 for me, lads. And let's hope we're having a big smile on our faces and no injuries.
Okay. Over to you, Pablo. What are you expecting? What do you want to see from the boys tomorrow night?
If we go away, well, first and foremost, great touch of class by the club. But I think there's a double ender to that. Actually, it benefits us. We play them on our snooker table. So I think there was a kind of, it's a double advantage, that one. It's a great PR exercise, and we get to play them on a big old snooker table up at St. James's. I think there's going to be a hell of a lot of changes. I don't think it'll be as comprehensive as what a few of the lads have said. Purely, I've looked at Wimbledon. I think they're 6 in League 2, Magnus, not League 1, I think, mate. And they're only 6 because they're 2 games behind the top of the. If they won them 2 games down, they'd be top of the league. So these are, although be it lower division, they're no mugs. You know, we're not playing rag and tags here. The manager, Johnny Jackson, I remember him as a player, was a very spiky little gobshite, basically. So I'd imagine his teams will play like that. So I'd imagine they'll be in our face, giving us a bit of hell. And if we've made, you know, say 9-10 changes, I think it'll be a bit tougher than what we think. Asula, you lads, I mean, I'm hoping the guy's going to play up front and let's get lift off from him. My own 3 years, I looked at his stats. He's never scored for Sheffield United, has he? Or have I read this wrong? He's played 20-something games for Sheffield United. Has he not scored, or have I completely read that wrong?
Not in the first team, Pablo, but it really has in the under 23s.
Yeah,
you've got to get the ball up front to him, though, haven't you? You know what I mean?
Well, as I said, tomorrow, hopefully we'll get lift off, and it'll be.
He's not going to score from the halfway line, is he?
But who do you think will play in net?
Interesting. They're probably they're probably going to play Dubravka, aren't they?
I think you will.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are saying they're going to play the guy.
Lacazette?
I don't think he'll play. I'll be surprised if he does. If he does.
But yeah, hopefully, mate, fingers crossed, it'll be a comprehensive win. But I think it'll be a bit tighter than what we expect. But on to Chelsea then, and then you know, it's anybody's guess, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So prediction, sorry, Pablo.
I'd say I'd probably go 3-1, 3-0, something like that.
Okay. Over to you, Ian.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the kids maybe getting a run out. You know, like I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been Magnus who said, and Caesar Lucy on the get a run out at some point. Be a good call if we did. If for me, if we did keep a few of the seasoned professionals in. And I liked what the captaincy prediction. I think it was from Spenny. It's a good call for me. I just think it'd be a good game. They're not like, you know, like Pablo said, they're no mugs. They are professionals, so you don't take them lightly, you know. And there is a big gulf, but you know, it'd be good. It'd be good to see. I think we will win easily 4-1. And I would like to see a good, confident performance and show the strength in depth that we've got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here, Ian.
Yeah. You know, I'd like to see I don't want to see massive changes, but I want to make sure that he protects the players that can go and get us the points at the weekend. To be perfectly honest, so yeah, I'll be live tomorrow with Joe Allen, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, having a chat about the game, looking ahead to the game. We're also going to do a match day live for Everton. I'm not going down to Everton, and I've been asked by an American company to use a new platform. So I will promote it on the Amigos on Friday. I'll stick it on the Facebook group and page as well. It's going to be a learning curve for me, but it's something a little bit new, which we've been asked to test run. So we're going to get a few of the lads on the show, I think, on Saturday. Joe Allen's agreed to do it as well. I think George is going to pop on. So we're going to have a bit of a panel, watch the game together, like we used to during lockdown. But yeah, I will set the link up, but it won't be on YouTube. It won't be on this channel. It's a new platform, which is going to be completely different. We're not going to be switching everything to there, so don't panic. But we are probably going to do something on there with this if it works out. So we'll try it. We'll see if it works. And I've also stuck a link in the chat because I am doing the Blake 7 podcast, which most of you seem to enjoy and probably be wondering where it's gone. But we've actually set up our own channel because I didn't want this channel to be what it used to be during lockdown, where we had a bit of true crime on, we had a few podcasts from controversial people, and we had a UFC Matters. So we've set a new YouTube channel up. So if you go to that YouTube channel now, and hit the subscribe button, you'll get notifications for the Blake 7 podcast if that's your thing. I'm doing that at 7:05 live tonight. We're reviewing the 3rd episode of the first series, Cygnus Alpha.
We did a watch along when we watched Man United against Newcastle. We beat them 5-0, pretending we were live.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I mean, it was a good idea. It was a good idea. It was a good idea as well. We've done a few of those daft things during lockdown. God, we had to do it to get ourselves through it. And Tim says, surprised you're not put forward on the Content Awards. No one ever puts us forward, Tim. But to be honest, we're not in this for awards. We're in it for the crack. We're in it to talk Newcastle United and to raise money for charity, which we have done. You know, I actually got the letter through from the food bank, and it was a thank you for what we did during lockdown, because obviously we're doing a lot of work for Dementia Matters now. Those T-shirts that Johnny Allen did during lockdown, the final total that we raised for the food bank during lockdown was £15,000. I was amazed. I was amazed by that. So a big thank you to everybody who chipped in, the likes of George Hayes in particular, who was buying, George Mitchell, who bought a lot of T-shirts during lockdown. But George, thanks to you and others watching. NUFC Matters made £15,000.
I've got a case
grand off my T-shirt with me on.
6 T-shirts that I've never had on yet.
Hey, you'll not be stuck for a duster.
You get one of those.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. Hopefully see some of you on Match Day Live once I manage to sort out this new footwear, this new software and stuff that we've got to use.
Okay,
I will be back tomorrow, 3 o'clock with Joe Allen. Take care. See you soon.
Take care, lads.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at skipsandbins.com. Contact them, www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. Their website, mrvickies.co.uk. Telephone 01768 210 102 or email info@mrvickies.co.uk. Thanks to our NUFC Matters fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. Travel and Tourism Award winners 2024. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. All excursions included, 3-star plus quality hotels, no interchanges, a 2-crew driver and courier. It's a local family company, and you can find them at www.unitedgrouptravel.com or telephone 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. Big thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you want to help support the channel, hit the subscribe button. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the thumb up under the video. That's the like button. It does help us grow. And click the share button. Help share to your social media. If you want to join the channel for as little as $1.99 a month, then hit the join button under this video today. We also help the food bank on this channel. Visit nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk. It takes you to the match day bucket where you can donate some money virtually. Some events for your diary in aid of Dementia Matters. The Long Sands will be reforming and be supported by Lilac Lane and the Chris Norris Band at the Cluny in Newcastle on Saturday, January the 4th, 2025. Tickets are £15 pre-sale from newcastlelegends.com. An evening with Peter Beardsley takes place at the Tyneside Irish Centre on the 10th of January 2025. Tickets available from newcastlelegends.com or from Woucher. And an evening with the Entertainers takes place on the 24th of January 2025. Telephone the box office 0844 249 1000 or visit the website tynetheatreandoperahouse.uk. And the Magpie Lounge at the Gateshead Leisure Centre is now open. 7 talk-ins for £99. Joe Allen will be hosting talk-ins with Lee Clark, John Anderson, Steve Howie, Darren Peacock, Supermac, Steve Watson, John Beresford. All between the dates of January and July. 99